Hey everybody, this is Brandon Scott with our next episode of the Fandom Pastor. If you were with me last time or any previous times, welcome back. This is your first time, welcome. Before I forget, I am looking for some new ideas to discuss. I always have some ideas kind of running around in my head, but I want to know if any of you have a desire for me to discuss a particular fandom. This may be a movie series, maybe a TV series, maybe a book series, heck, even video games or anything like that. I said it before, God is everywhere, and so whether good or bad, God teaches us something in everything. So, if you guessed the clue from last time, or again, if you just read the title below, you know I'm going to talk about How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now, this is a really fun Christmas movie. And I'm going to actually kind of use well, it's not just a Christmas movie, first of all. First, it started out as a book by Dr. Seuss, published in 1957. Then it became an animated movie in 1966, and of course that's the first time I remember seeing it at all. Interesting, fun little tidbit. I don't know if any of you recognize or know this, but the narrator for the 1966 cartoon was Boris Karloff. You may not necessarily recognize the name, but he was the original Frankenstein monster in the Universal monster movies. So he was the voice of the narrator. This was back in the 1930s, the Universal films in the 1930s. He was the creature. It was also remade into a live-action film in 2000 starring Jim Carrey as the Grinch, which, again, I actually enjoyed that one. I thought that was a really good one. And more recently, in 2018, into another animated film, and I'll be honest, I have not watched it yet. If I remember correctly, Benedict Cumberbatch voiced the Grinch, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. But if you don't know the story, it's actually really simple. The Grinch, and no one quite knows the reason, as it says, he hated the Who's down in Whoville. Now, if you watch the Grinch movie with Jim Carrey, there's a background there. There's kind of a story there why he hates the Who's and everything. But the original story doesn't really say. But what happens is the Who's are very big into just happiness and joy, and they celebrate life, and they loved freely. And after years of this just hatred towards the Who's, the Grinch decided to try and steal their joy at the Christmas season by dressing as Santa Claus and taking all their toys. And of course, his buddy Max, who his pet dog, basically the only one he kind of shows some affection for, is right alongside him. So he kind of, the Grinch goes into the town, and it talks about him going house to house and absolutely stealing everything. He steals the roast beasts and cleans out the fridge, steals the Christmas trees. I mean, every trapping of Christmas he takes off with. The Grinch kind of stood at the top of this mountain where he lived and was just waiting patiently, and maybe not so patiently, for him to hear the cry, as the Who's hearts are broken because they don't have they don't have Christmas. But the sound that he heard from the Who's wasn't sad, but glad. After the Grinch finally realized that maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. I'm sure you all recognize that little phrase. That's something that children of, well, every generation really needed to see and hear. And the message hasn't seemed dated since it first came out. And you know, it's a story that's passed down from generations. My kids always watch the movies, and I read the book to them, and I mean, it's just this great story, right? Of seeing where our priorities lie, what is really important. I know we haven't gotten Thanksgiving yet, but I mean, look at the fact that we've gone from our Black Friday, which used to start on the Friday after Thanksgiving, and now it actually will start on Thanksgiving Day. And we've even added into Cyber Monday, which they say is actually even more, is bigger even than Black Friday anymore. And people are buying things all year long to basically just show their love by buying stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I like things. I mean, you know, I put together something of a Christmas list myself, and granted, most of it is books because I love to read, but we have this design that to show love, we have to give. We have to give. And, you know, I've seen this post on Facebook numerous times. Don't bankrupt yourself by showing somebody how much you love them. And I think that's a relevant point. So if you, again, let's go back to the Grinch. If you know the cartoon, I can tell you exactly the moment where the Grinch, I mean, let's be honest, kind of steals my heart, even though I've seen it over and over again. When the true meaning of Christmas comes through, and the Grinch gets the strength of 10 Grinches plus 2, that's where they, you know, almost the goosebumps start moving up and down my arm, where his heart grows, and it's such a great story. In Ezekiel 36:26 it says, "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh." Now, granted, this story is not the Christmas story. Obviously, the Christmas story involves Jesus and everything, and there's not a single Grinch anywhere in it. But the Grinch kind of reminds me and all of us to put aside all of the stuff, the wrappings, the busyness of the season, so we can get to the real meaning of Christmas. It doesn't come from a store. Christmas is a whole lot more, as it shines in the Christ of Christmas. You know, I've done ministry for 20 plus years, but this is the first year I've been the senior pastor or only pastor at a church, and so I get a chance to really focus on the story of Christmas, especially for Christmas Eve, and I'm really excited about that. I get to help tell the story and to share it and help everybody hopefully understand that Christ needs to be in Christmas. Christ is the reason. And without that attitude of caring and loving, really, why are we here? Now, granted, Christmas is not really, I'll be honest, and I may get some flack for this, it's not really as important as Easter. Christ came to the earth as an infant on Christmas, but he came back to life and conquered death on Easter. So Easter is more important, but Christmas is really where we get a lot of our focus, and it should be that attitude of Christmas all year long, through Christmas to Easter and beyond. We need to remember that the focus, the love that we have, should be carried through all the year. So often we look at what we can do at Christmas. I'm going to help with charities. Some may do Operation Christmas Child. Some may give to angel trees. Some may donate to this or that and do Toys for Tots and you know, giving out coats and things like that. And don't get me wrong, those aren't bad. But are you only doing it this time of year, or are you doing it all year long? Is your focus on, I'm going to kind of get a check mark beside my name saying I did something, so I'm good the rest of the year. If so, then, well, you're not doing it for the right reason. Put Christ in Christmas. Let that new spirit, like it says in Ezekiel, grow in you. Let your heart grow more and deeper in love with Christ and to embody his very actions. Be like the Grinch at the end. So, join me in a couple weeks as we continue our new series study on some fun Christmas movies. And I will, as I do every week, I will give you a clue to the next episode. And I'll do it in the form of a warning. Be careful. You'll shoot your eye out. Thanks, and God bless.